This is the time and place for a city commission meeting in Huron, South Dakota on December 12th, 2022. Roll call, please.
Smith.
Here.
Weinreich.
Here.
Craig.
Here.
Robish.
Present.
Mayor Harrington.
Here. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda approval. I have one change that I will announce. We're going to refer 8.3 on to next week. We're not going to have it tonight. So, is there any other deletions or additions to our agenda tonight?
Move to approve as amended.
Okay. Commissioner Robish moves to approve. Need a second?
Second.
Second. So roll call vote, please, on the amended agenda.
Smith.
Aye.
Weinreich.
Aye.
Craig.
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. Public forum. Public forum. Public comments may be sent during a live meeting broadcast on the city's YouTube channel. The link is listed on the city's website at www.huronsd.gov. Click into Government and then City Commission. In order to use the YouTube chat feature, please create an account with your YouTube and Gmail or use your existing accounts. Please state your name and address for this record. Public forum is limited to a maximum of 3 minutes per person. Does anybody on the commission have anything to add to public forum tonight? Yes, Commissioner Weiners.
Thank you. So I want to remind everybody with the possible severe weather in the area in the next few days that you can sign up for alerts through our website, huronsd.gov, as well as want to remind everybody that after 2 inches of snowfall that there is no parking allowed on the emergency snow routes. If a snow alert is declared, the city will begin clearing the snow from east and west streets on even numbered days and on north and south roads on odd numbered days. Also, there is no parking in the core area downtown during our snow removal process. If you have any questions on the snow alert process, you can visit our website and look under our municipal codes.
All right, thank you. Very, very timely information for everybody to get that. Thank you, Drew. Okay, moving on. I will say that we do have our HR director, Nathan Hofer, in the back of the room on a computer. And so you can use your YouTube channel and ask your question, and Nathan will get that question to the commission and see if we can answer it for you tonight. If not, we'll get back to you with the answer. All right, moving on. Consent agenda. Matters appearing on the consent agenda are expected to be non-controversial and will be acted upon by the commission at one time without discussion unless a member of the commission requests an opportunity to address any given item. Items removed from the consent agenda will be discussed at the beginning of the formal items. Consent agenda for tonight is 4.1, minutes of December 5th, 2022 City Commission minutes. 4.2, personnel items. Recommend termination of Carlos Salazar from the year-round part-time library clerk position. 4.3, payment of the bills. Need a roll call vote on motion. I need a motion. I'm sorry.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Commissioner Bragg.
Second.
Moves approved. Second, Commissioner Weinrich. Now we'll have a roll call vote.
Smith.
Aye.
Weinreich.
Aye.
Craig.
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. Bid quote items, moving on. I'm going to ask our Assistant City Engineer, Dennis Bennett, to explain 5.1 and 5.2 to us.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. 5.1 is just the payment for the crack sealing we had done in the amount of $62,498 and recommend approval.
Okay, need a motion to approve 5.1.
Move to approve 5.1.
Okay,
Second.
Mr. Weinrich, motion to approve, and a second by Mr. Robish. Any questions on this item for Dennis? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Weinreich.
Aye.
Craig.
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. 5.2, Dennis, please.
Thank you. For 5.2, This is a replacement for an asphalt zipper we bought in 2011. Just time to replace it. We had $285,000 budgeted. They allowed us $50,000 trade on it for a total purchase price of $219,813.50. Recommend approval.
Okay. A motion on this item?
Move to approve the request.
Commissioner Smith, a motion to approve? Need a
Second.
Second, Commissioner Bragg. Any discussion on this item? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Warner.
Aye.
Wood.
Aye.
Robert.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. Okay. Moving on to petitions and communications, and we're calling our city attorney, Tucker Valesky, to give us up to date on 6.1.
Thank you, Mayor. 6.1, consider request from Lloyd Spain for payment of plat filing fees. There was some discussion last week in this regard. It was advised that it be taken up, put on the agenda and taken up tonight if it's going to be taken up. He has submitted, it appears, a statement from Pierce Harris Engineering, and he is requesting 1/3 of those costs with regard to a plat that was done.
Okay.
I'd move to approve, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Bragg. Need a second by Commissioner Robish. Okay. Discussion on this item?
One discussion point there.
Yes, Commissioner Smith.
So after thinking about this for a week, the thought that occurred to me was, as part of this, there were 3 plats that were formed. And the reasoning I'm looking at, should we consider splitting just the cost of one of those plats? If this were discovered initially, you're splitting the cost of one plat, to redo that one plat. Am I on the right page with that, Barry, based on the transaction?
Right. Oh, excuse me. Yes, there was one original plat, but in order to establish the legal addresses, it had to be split into 3 parcels. And because he lives in the county, there was only one that the city of Huron was actually established as the owner of that parcel. And so that's why the city of Huron had one parcel that we had to approve as the owner. And then Mr. Spain has 2 other plats because he had established the 2 parcels for the exchange.
Right.
And then subsequently, he will be filing a 3rd plat, which we have nothing to do with that particular plat because that is the plat that establishes the legal address for the parcel that he intends on selling to a private party from there after this transaction is over.
Right. But the initial transaction 19 years ago was between the city.
Was between the city and
And
on a
so-
single plat.
So my point is, would it make more sense to, assuming that if that's all that he was platting, I realize that he's creating 3 different plats because of the sale and to correct it. But if it would have been done prior to that, you would have had just one plat.
Correct.
Okay. And that's my logic of splitting the 1266, not the whole 1/3 of the 3 plats being split up. So that's my thought behind it. Would be not the 1266, but 633-34 for consideration.
Okay. Any other discussion on this item? Well, I'll make a statement. I'm going to vote no on this. I just feel that we didn't have we didn't hire either one of these engineers to do this. That's Mr. Spain's expense. I don't see why it's an expense for the city taxpayers. There's no advantage for the city, only to Mr. Spain on this item. We're not going to gain anything from that. Also, I think that the city taxpayers should not be liable for the cost of planning this item, so I'm going to vote no. Any more questions, any more?
Yeah, I'll just echo some of the same points we
Yeah.
talked about last week, just that, you know, I would be very leery about setting any kind of precedent that the city is responsible for plats that are done in error, because that's not our job or our expertise. That's why we hire somebody to do it. And so I think, you know, the only reason that I brought up last week that I would consider this one differently is because we were a party to the sale. And so, you know, 19 years ago, whatever the deal was, it was set up that he hired the person to plat, but it could have been negotiated at the time that we could have paid for the whole plat back then and done it wrong. We were a party to the sale, so I think that makes this different than just saying anything that comes. Obviously, there's no way we could say everything that comes through the city we're responsible for if it's done wrong, because then we'd have to hire our own engineer and cover everyone. So clearly that would be an unreasonable precedent, but, you know, as we were a party to this transaction, I feel like we have as an equal share in the error that was done in the transaction between the two parties, both the buyer and the seller.
I guess I would,
Yes, Commissioner Wilson.
I guess I would go along with that reasoning that Mr. Bragg brought forth too, just to, and Brian, I get the idea of splitting just the one property instead of the three, but in cleaning up the situation and taking responsibility, I guess I would also be in favor of the whole 1/3, I guess I'm gonna say it, instead of the half of the one or whatever. Cleaning up the wording, was it whose fault it was? I don't know. How do you know? You can point fingers, but when you start pointing fingers, there's more pointing back, so I guess to clear it up and make it clean mud, I guess I would go along with the full 1/3 or whatever.
Okay. Do you want to entertain a motion on your, Brian? We could do that.
I would.
Motion on the table now?
For the full third.
Okay.
I think my
This
case.
is your case, okay. I have to.
Yeah, Brian, to your point, I mean, I think the third that exists already, I mean, it was one parcel to start with. So really, when we were party to the transaction, it was just one parcel. That there was a mistake made on that transaction. The fact that it's in 3 now is the methodology to fix that, but it wasn't that we were only a third of the parcel 19 years ago. We were a 50-50 owner of the transaction 50 years ago, so.
Right, and that's the math that I'm trying to come down to, is we've split 50% of
Yeah.
that plat cost of one.
But I mean, there really is the third is already, because there was just one plat cost. The fact that he's dividing it into 3 now is trying to say he's not asking for us to pay for all of it or even 50%. I mean, because the mistake that was made 19 years ago was just made on one plat. So I get where you're coming from. I don't think that's a bad way to look at it, but I will leave my motion at paying the $12.66 as 1/3.
Okay. Any other motions? We'll have a roll call vote on
Smith.
this.
Aye.
Weinreich.
Aye.
Bragg.
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Nay. All right, moving on, that's passed. We're done with that item, so. We are into departmental items, and I see Rob is here, so Rob, we'll call you up for 8.1, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm here to request additional $78,260 for our big meter project that was budgeted this year. We budgeted $200,000, and this is kind of in conjunction with the project for next year, where we're gonna be doing a citywide meter upgrade, and along with that, there's gonna be a technology upgrade, where we'll be able to read the meters off of our water towers and be able to get daily readings and things like that. And that's why the cost is more, and that's why I'm coming to you late, is because we've spent a lot of time painfully researching which company to go with. So next week, we should be, barring no major weather complications, you'll get educated on water meters.
Oh, good. Can hardly wait.
Please stand by. I know.
They say that, let it snow, let it snow.
Mhm. Yeah.
Finally, some
Be sure you show up.
Okay,
Yeah, so I'd entertain any questions if anybody had anything.
need a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Okay,
Second.
motion approved by Commissioner Smith, a second by Mr. Bragg. Okay, any questions for Rob on this item?
So what was the reasoning on the additional cost? Did they
Uh,
product?
Well, there's an extra add-on to the water meter. It's a 25-foot cord with an antenna that goes up higher, so we'll be able to read the meters better than, right now, all our meters have just a little antenna on the meter. So next year, when we go through everybody's house, they'll also be getting this 25-foot cable and an antenna that'll be mounted in the floor joist, which is extra cost.
So we didn't have this technology when we approved the 200,000?
No.
We do now, and that's what we need, the 78,260 for that.
And this will replace every water meter in town, 1.5 inch and above.
Okay. How long do you think that's gonna take?
For the, well, there's 274 of them, I think.
Oh, okay,
Take a couple months, I suppose.
oh, okay.
The next year, we'll have, hopefully, with your guys' approval and stuff, we'll be doing almost 4,000 water meters next year. We'll be hiring a crew to come in and help us get that done.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Any other questions for Rob on this?
I'm just gonna know we're gonna take that out of reserves in the water fund,
The reserves in the water fund?
in the
Yeah.
water fund.
Yeah, okay. All right, thanks, Rob. So we have a motion. We need a roll call vote, please.
Smith,
Aye.
Weinreich,
Aye.
Bragg,
Aye.
Rovich,
Aye. All right. Moving on to 8.2, we're gonna call on our Dale Fortin, supervisor, to come up and explain what 8.2 is for the solid waste management. Good evening, Dale.
Good afternoon. This is part of the ongoing project that we're working on right now currently with the new facility. Regardless if the new facility doesn't go, the baler does have to. It'll be, but if we get the grant, order the baler, we could be 1.5 years out on the baler. So we kind of wanted to secure that, and there's a possibility of getting the grant, so we're gonna put in to try and get some matching funds on that. And the baler that we're looking at will go either place, so
So you could put it in the old building.
if that's what we intend. Yeah,
For a while
we're
to-
already, yeah.
Yeah, okay,
If we go down, we'd have something.
yeah, okay.
You'll be grumpy, but we can do it.
You just don't like that baler out there anymore, do you?
It'll be 50 years old before we get the new ones. so.
Built that Frankenstein, now you don't like it.
I can run it, nobody else can fix it, so.
Any other questions for Dale on this item? Need a motion to approve?
I'd move to approve.
Mr. Bragg, motion to approve, need a second.
I would second that and authorize the mayor to sign the grant request.
Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Can I just add another quick note? This is with the South Dakota Solid Waste Management Program. It's a 50/50 grant, so the total is $996,247. Half of that was a grant. It's awarded.
And this was in all of the budget estimates for the new plant that was assuming that we would apply for this grant. So this is still on plan with what we've been working toward.
Okay.
When do those, Mayor, if I may,
Yes.
when do those grants generally get accepted and considered?
First quarter, so that first quarter will be in there, and then we'll be in that draw in that first quarter. There's a certain amount of money that's allocated. Being as this baler also is used for recycling, we kind of go up on the ladder a little bit, but we're in the running with Mitchell, which is putting in for a new transfer station type deal on their single stream. So we're hoping that we'll be up there in that same bracket with them, so.
So it'd be considered the first quarter in 2023.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Time for a roll call vote, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Wainwright.
Aye.
Craig.
Aye.
Rubish.
Aye.
Mayor Harrington.
Aye. Thank you, Tim. Moving on to 8.3 is the one that we waived and moved on to next week. We'll be handling 8.3 next week. And with that, we are going to executive session at this time. We motion to move to executive session.
So to second.